Today we are talking about comparison, why we feel the need to compare ourselves to others, why it's detrimental to our self-worth, and what we can do about it. I love this quote by Jordan B. Peterson in 12 Rules for Life, an Antidote to Chaos. Rule number 4, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Hey, welcome back to your Emotional Support Podcast, where we start each week building our self-worth. Happy Monday. I'm your host, Noelle Rizzio. So over the weekend, I just watched Season 6, Episode 1 of The Handmaid's Tale. And no spoilers, I'm not going to spoil anything, but wow. Okay, I absolutely love when women are badasses. Like, how amazing is it that we have so many movies and shows out there right now that just show women as the heroes and the saviors and just complete and utter badasses. Like, we're not being saved. We don't need a man to come in and fix things for us, right? We are conquering. Okay, I love that. So let's talk today about how we can be more badass. And it starts with not comparing ourselves to one another. So comparison, really, it's a natural brain function. It's a survival mechanism. Okay, we need other people to survive. We cannot survive on our own. So we adapted comparison to basically help us fit in and belong with other people so that then we can use those other people to help us. Like, I'm thinking about back to like cavemen days, right? We needed to be able to fit into these little cave women groups so that if somebody else saw this, saber-toothed tiger coming, they would clue us in, okay? Another thing to note about comparison is social comparison theory. And this is some guy, Leon Festinger. He created this social comparison theory. And I'm not going to get too deep into this, but basically he suggests that individuals have a fundamental need to evaluate themselves, often by comparing their abilities, opinions, and emotions to those of others. Okay, so this is just normal. This is innate. This is something that we come by naturally. It's normal to compare ourselves. The problem comes in is where and how we compare ourselves, right? If we're comparing ourselves endlessly and just nonstop comparing ourselves, and how we're comparing ourselves. Are we comparing ourselves to real people, or are we comparing ourselves to the filters and the highlights that people choose to show us on social media? So the idea here is that we compare their best to our behind the scenes, right? We compare their highlight reel to our blooper reel. Okay, and that's where we get into a little trouble. So, in comparison has changed so much because we used to compare ourselves locally, right? To neighbors, to coworkers, to people we see in our own spaces. And that was okay because, we didn't do it all the time and we weren't comparing ourselves to people that were completely unlike us. Okay, but now it's global, it's filtered, it's non-stop. We're constantly comparing ourselves to these people on social media, and social media tricks us. It hears what we're saying, it hears what we like, it learns, we've all heard of algorithms, right? It hears all of these things, and so it creates your news feeds and your Facebook feed, your Instagram reels, all the things, your TikToks that come up. It creates these so that these are people who you think are similar to you because they like the same things, or they have the same hobbies, or they drive the same car. And so you fictitiously think that they are the same as you. And so then you think, well, if they're like me, then I should be more like them. You think, if they have this, then I should have this too. Or if they do that, then I should do that too. Okay. And so if you don't have those things or do those things, then you feel like you are less than, when actually you are not, because you are not the same as them. And that's okay. It's actually probably good. So there are some good aspects to comparison, right? If there wasn't, we wouldn't continue to do it. If we're not getting something out of it, if we're not benefiting in some way, then we're not going to continue to do it. So comparison adds to our sense of self. Okay, I like that about that person. I want to be more like them. I don't like this about this person. I don't want to be like that. Okay, it's okay to have those comparisons. It's when we do it over and over and over again and don't feel good about ourselves because we don't have the same things that other people have. That's when it becomes a negative impact. Okay, comparison can be motivating. Okay, right? If you're like, I really want what that person has, maybe you work harder to get to that, or you set goals for yourself. And those are all positive things. It helps us thrive in situations that we've never been in before. Like, we walk into a room filled with people we don't know in a situation that we've never been. Okay, we compare ourselves and what we're doing to what everybody else in the room is doing so that we can assimilate, so that we can act appropriately in a situation we've never been in. Okay, these are all normal. These are all okay things. If it makes you feel like you're always falling short, or you're not good enough, or you're behind, that's when it gets problematic. If it's tied to shame or insecurity or low self-esteem, that's when it's problematic. Sometimes it could lead to this imposter syndrome or burnout from just trying to keep up and disconnecting from your own goals and your own identity. It's like trying to run your race while staring at someone else's lane. You're always going to trip up. A little bit more about social media is, algorithms amplify this idealized content, right? These vacations, these gorgeous vacations where they have their own butler and their own swim out beach and success and aesthetics, right? I scroll through TikTok sometimes and I see these people and I don't care what they're doing. I'm looking in the background at what their house looks like and I am amazed. I'm like, how are their floors so clean? How do they have these gorgeous kitchens? Okay, this is what I don't understand. And then I'm like, well, my kitchen sucks. My floors are always dirty. I must be doing something wrong. Okay, I'm guessing that their house does not look like that all the time, or that they're just, maybe they can afford a maid or something, or a housekeeper. I don't know. But anyway, you can't help but compare yourself to these people that you see, and then you feel bad about yourself. You've got that dopamine loop, the scroll, compare, feel bad, scroll more, right? It's a vicious cycle. So the more that you can put your phone away, the better. But I know that that's really hard in today's day and age. So we'll talk about some other tips here in just a minute. But that fear of missing out too, right? That all these other people are on vacations and they're doing these fun things and they've got these great careers and they've got these great families and they're doing this. And then you think, well, why am I not doing that? What am I missing out on? So a good way to help curate your own feed is to unfollow people or mute them or, snooze them for a little while, whatever the case may be for that particular app. You have control over it to some extent. So, you can take a little bit of that back. Like I said, unfollow, mute, be selective in who you follow. Okay, don't just follow anybody, or don't, watch somebody a few times before you click that follow button. Follow things that are uplifting, right? I know I've mentioned this before, but I follow like 10 different zoos on my social media feeds so that I see like little zoo babies being born all the time, or like this cute thing that the baby cheetah did today. It's amazing. And that the more you watch things like that, then the more your feed will fill up with things like that. So, I watch babies as much as I possibly can, or like little animals, or like, couples that are, making fun of each other, stuff like that. Not people. I try to not like watch people that seem like they are perfect and have it all, because I do not want my feed to fill up with things like that. Take digital detox days. Take a day where you just say, I am not going to go on social media today. It doesn't mean you can't have your phone. It doesn't mean you can't, do different things that you need to do to fulfill your daily obligations. But just try to take one day where you don't look at that stuff and see what your day is like. See if it's any better. Remind yourself when you're looking at these things that it's a moment. It's not the full picture. It's their highlight reel. They aren't going to post if they think they look disgusting and, are having a bad day. Okay, they're only going to post on the days where they feel like they look amazing, everything's going great, their house is clean, their children are either hiding or they've taken them away somewhere. Okay, this is not the full picture of their everyday life. So breaking the cycle of comparison, we first need to be aware of it. We need to be aware of how much we compare ourselves to others, because it's insane, you guys. We are constantly comparing ourselves to other people. And catch it. Catch it when you do it. If you hear somebody else doing it, well, maybe that's not such a good idea to start calling out all of our friends. They might not be our friends for very long, but call yourself out, okay? Call yourself out if you catch yourself doing it. Reframe those thoughts. What does this bring up for me? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling insecure when I see this influencer's beautiful kitchen? Okay. Why am I feeling, self-conscious when I see this, woman's well-behaved, hilarious children that can dance? What is that bringing up for you? What real feeling is there? And then if we're able to kind of label it and realize what it really is and call it out for what it really is, then maybe we can start to move past it. Just really anchor yourself in your self-worth. Practice gratitude for what you bring to the table. Instead of focusing on what these other people have that you don't, focus on what you have. Celebrate your small wins. Celebrate the great thing that happened today. Celebrate the fact that the sun is shining in small town Illinois for the first time in days. Okay? Stay connected to your values, not just trends. Right? You have great values. You have great character. You are an amazing person. And the dance routine that's trending on TikTok does not play any role in the value of who you are and what you bring to this world. So the mantra that you need to stand by is, I'm not behind. I'm simply on my own path. Okay, we don't need to catch up with everybody else. We need to look ahead to what's ahead of our future and focus on that. What can I do to get to where I need to be based on my goals and my aspirations, not on somebody else's? This has been a lot. But just to recap, comparison is normal. It doesn't have to run the show, though. I want you to take 24 hours and just try to put that social media away. Or try and unfollow 3 accounts that really mess with your mental health. Try one of those this week. I invite you to DM me. Let me know what helps you when you're stuck in comparison. I would love to know that. Today's reminder that you didn't ask for, but you definitely need. You're still hot, even if your jeans are unbuttoned. which is so weird because I just saw that a few middle schoolers running around the school that I work at with their pants unbuttoned. And that was like, they got in trouble for doing it, but that's apparently trendy. So there you go. If you're sitting around, like I'll be driving on a long drive and like stop and grab some fast food and feel a little bloated. And so I'll drive the rest of the way with my pants unbuttoned. So apparently I am super cool. So definitely follow me for more hip trends. Next week we are talking about self-compassion. So instead of comparing ourselves to everyone else, we are going to learn how to be nicer to ourselves. I cannot wait to talk to you about that. I am so glad you're here. Have a great week.